Oh, what is going on, guys? Hello again. I just want to talk about this because this has been on my mind for a little while. It's a bit of a rant. I'm going to try to include some content in one of the corners, maybe some gameplay from a game or something, just for my fellow ADHD folks. I know what it's like to have ADHD and, someone just talking over some bullet point lists really, it probably doesn't scratch the itch for what you want. So I'm going to try to include some gameplay for those of you that just want to see something happening on the screen. But please stay tuned because I want y'all's opinion on this. I don't want to be the only one thinking about this. I want to know what's going on here. Now, I work full time, so in the interest of saving time, I asked ChatGPT about this to see, what it could scrub from the internet and reiterate to me that I could talk to you guys about. But I have really been wondering what happened to games including custom game modes and also a map editor. So the two biggest examples for that I can think of are Halo 3 and Far Cry 2. Obviously, some of the subsequent Halos also had map editing, but Halo 3 is where it started, and that's like one of the most notorious and legendary map editors and custom game modes examples I could think of. Um, and to the point where I see constant nostalgia posts on Reddit and Facebook about Halo 3 custom games and how you just had to be there and how it was so special. All those custom game modes that we all love, the ones that got popular, like Ghostbusters and Jenga and Halo 3, and there were so many others, but that's just to name a couple examples. And obviously, if you ever played Far Cry 2, you know it had a really cool map editor. Me and my buddies made a really cool jungle map and used to wage just guerrilla warfare on this jungle map together. It was a great time. So, here's the thing, guys. As we can see, one of the most popular things you can do in a video game, and I think anyone that's a true gamer will agree with this, is give some power to the players. Obviously, one of the most successful and long-standing games is Minecraft, which is basically a total sandbox where you just create your own adventure, you manipulate the map, you kind of manipulate the game mode. Halo 3 at the time was really popular, like I said, for allowing you to manipulate the map, manipulate the game mode. And I'm just wondering why this isn't a thing anymore. I can't think of the last game on console that included a built-in map editor. Of course, on PC, it's a little more common for modders to kind of take over and build some custom maps and do things like that, but that's to be expected on PC as that's been pretty much a staple since the beginning of PC gaming. But what happened to them including actual map editors? So I asked ChatGPT. Obviously, the first thing that ChatGPT said was monetization control, which kind of makes me want to puke in my mouth because the idea that we're being given subpar throwaway games in favor of monetization control makes me kind of sick. And I know that makes a lot of you probably kind of sick as well because it's like you'd probably be much more happy to support a game financially that actually had replayability and actually gave some power to the players. Like we're all sick of the same old crap. It's not like these companies, when they release map packs or skins or whatever it is, they're not releasing anything that's really that groundbreaking. Not anything I really want to spend any extra money on. I can't think of the last time I've wanted to spend money in a game. So it's like, I don't understand why companies don't prioritize just making a really awesome game and just reaping the benefits of that. Like, if you make a good game that sets itself apart from the norm, you're going to make a ton of money. I think the original Halo 3 had what, like three additional map packs that you could buy. There were three DLCs, and yeah, you had to buy those extra maps. Sure, fine. But once you had those extra maps, you could go into Foundry, or sorry, Forge mode, and you could edit the maps to your heart's content. And I remember probably the most popular add on maps were Foundry and Sandbox, and those added years of gameplay to Halo 3. And yeah, the company made some money off those map packs, and then the players got extra years out of the game itself, which I see as a win win for both parties. And I don't understand why companies had to deviate away from this model in an attempt to nickel and dime everybody. It just doesn't make any sense. So Obviously, you can see one of the other examples here is increased technical complexity. It says right here modern engines and assets are vastly more complex than older games like Halo 3 or Far Cry 2. Okay, fine. But I know for a fact, and if one thing shows this, Battle Bits Royale, back when that got super popular for, the maybe like the 6 months that it was really a hot ticket item before the devs abandoned it, that was a really popular game despite having really subpar graphics. So even though there was no map editor in there, the point is that like this advanced technology that is so important and time consuming and expensive is like, I know a lot of players that would totally sacrifice that in favor of just having a game that's actually fun. Like recently one of the most fun games I found was Brotato, and it's just like a top down old school arcade shooter where you just move a potato around with the left analog stick, and it shoots everything, and you try to build up the best potato you can to win the game. It's super simple, super dumb, but it's super fun. Like, I personally don't need my games to look like real life for them to be enjoyable. In fact, I really don't care. In fact, I really like playing old school RuneScape because it looks old school. So, I mean, call me old or call me old fashioned, whatever. I would rather have a game that's just fun and interesting versus it looking super fantastic with ray tracing and all this complicated stuff. Now, I mean, if you could include the best of both worlds and make it look amazing and be fun and have all this extra content, of course, I'm going to throw my money at you all day long. But no one's doing that. It's all, as you can see, point number three, it's live service models and monetized controlled games. And I think I can speak for a lot of people in saying that we're pretty damn sick of that. No one wants this crap. Go back to making games fun and interesting and give some power to your community to expand your game and make it more interesting and fun. Now, if we scroll down, we see legal and moderation headaches, inappropriate content and copyright issues, like whatever, whatever. I don't know. It wasn't that big of an issue back in the day, you know? I don't see why it would be that big of an issue now or how you couldn't implement some sort of basic security to not allow those sort of things. But maybe that one's a little out of my realm of expertise. I'm not going to pretend I'm a legal expert on this sort of stuff, but I really feel like there's probably a way around it if, you used your head. Now, I haven't even read all the way down this list yet, so let's look at this together. It says a shift in player behavior. Modern players are used to content being curated, fast paced, and streaming friendly. The demand for spending hours building a map or scripting a mode has dropped in favor of quicker, dopamine driven experiences. Yeah, okay, fine, but yeah, look at right here. However, there's still a niche audience, and I was thinking this in my head as I was reading this was Roblox. Roblox is like the most popular kids game in the world right now, as far as I'm aware, and it allows full creation of your own content. So this point is kind of mute, to be honest with you. Now, I know the AI is trying its best to just answer my question, which I understand, but if I'm these companies, and if this was actually what companies are thinking, it's like you're an idiot, dude. You're losing money. It's like you can spend $200 million and make Skull and Bones or whatever that Ubisoft trash was, but no one's gonna buy it because it's not fun. It's not interesting. No one cares. Make the game fun and interesting and give some power to the players, and they're gonna buy it. You're gonna make your money. You know? I just don't get it. So here we go. Franchise control and branding. Big studios like Activision, EA, and Ubisoft, literally the top three tier, the holy trinity of garbage. Like, I'm sorry, dude, but I just have lost a lot of respect. I've lost all respect for Activision after I got my account banned on Call of Duty for not cheating, but they said I was cheating. So I don't know what to think about that. EA was probably the first publishing punching bag as far as like shitty practices. No, we don't even gotta talk about Ubisoft. I mentioned Skull and Bones. If you just want to like, I don't think there's anyone better than Ubisoft at just like burning all their money in favor of making a really bland, mediocre, and not enjoyable experience. So we can honestly forget about all three of these guys. So if you're any of these other small developers, dude, and you're watching this video, which is pretty much like, I guarantee you're not gonna watch this, but if you do, like, don't do what Activision, EA, and Ubisoft have done. Like, do something different, make something fun, give some power to the players to make their own game modes and their own maps. Because feel like we're all pretty sick of just playing this corporatized crap at this point, and it just used to be way more fun, man. Back when players would do their own thing and make their own thing, it had this sort of like cult energy to it, like cult classic energy, like a campy movie energy to it, where it's just made things so much more fun, man. And I just miss that. I don't understand why they can't do this anymore. Here's some examples of games that used to have it. Like I mentioned, Halo Forge, Far Cry Map Editor. I never played StarCraft or Warcraft, so I can't comment. Battlefield's modding tools. I can't really comment because I don't recall playing much of that. But they did used to have Call of Duty custom servers, which the closest thing I could fucking reiterate to that would be like ISO modding on the original Xbox, where you could add like mod menus for the zombies on World at War, which was a lot of fun. But and of course, exceptions still exist. Arma, Squad. Those are all PC games, which is like it's to be expected. I want to see more console games like shipping with a built-in map editor that you can run from your controller, and you can create your own custom game modes, whether it's capture the flag or king of the hill or whatever it is. Just like give some customization and power back to the community, man, and I guarantee you'll build up a solid fan base on your game, and then you can figure out how to nickel and dime them. Not that I endorse that. I think, if they're starting to charge $80 for a game, I think if you made a really cool game that was really popular and charged $80 for it, and like 2 million people bought it, I think you made out pretty well. I wouldn't really complain about that, I guess. But what do I know? I'm not a CEO or a financial executive, but give some power and customization back to the players, build up an actual fan base for something new and original, and then you can try to nickel and dime them, whatever. But I don't know, guys. I just really wanted to talk about this because I'm really just like, I just miss the good old days of like games trying to like push the boundary, push the end, or, what I'm trying to say, guys. It's late. I worked a long day, and I'm just trying to get this out to you guys, instead of letting it stew around in my head all day. I just want to see games include, you know, I want them to give some power back to the players again. I miss those days, and I just truly don't understand why they claim it's impossible to do so. I think that's nonsense. I think it's lazy, and I think it's a lot of corporate BS where they just want to control everything and try to make you pay for their lazy content, like crappy skins or whatever the new stupid thing is they try to sell you that's not even that cool or enjoyable. I can tell you what, the best example out of all these that I played was Halo 3, and I played literally hundreds, possibly thousands of hours of custom content in Halo that I otherwise wouldn't have done so. And that game is still notorious and legendary to this day. And so there's really no reason why they shouldn't be doing this again. So, anyways, guys, please let me know in the comments your opinions about this. I actually really, really, really want to hear from you guys. Please, please comment. Please let me know how you're feeling because, you know, I don't want to be the only one thinking about this. I want to know that there's other people that care about this too out there. So, if you watch this video to the end and you're still here, please leave a comment. If you're feeling generous, please like and subscribe. I promise to keep on making some videos talking about this sort of stuff. But, yeah, we need to get back to having games like give some power to the players, man, because this new era of gaming is just lazy, it's watered down, and it's just nonsense, and everyone's sick of it. I know everyone's sick of it. Everyone wants something good, something original, and people want to be able to make their own things, dude. I mean, that's why Minecraft is still so damn popular, is because you get to make your own thing every time you start up the game. So, anyways, guys, that's about it. Hope you have a great night. Peace.